The large room was filled with creatures that looked nothing like humans. Some had 6 arms, others had scales that changed color when they moved. A few floated in the air, inside glass bubbles filled with strange gas. The smell in the room was terrible, like old fish mixed with burning metal. Admiral Jack Morrison stood alone in the center of the room. His dark blue uniform was the only familiar thing he could see. Around him, 47 different alien species sat in a circle, all staring at him with eyes that were too big, too small, or in places where eyes should not be. The trial had been going on for 3 days. Jack was tired, but he kept his back straight and his face calm. He had been a soldier for 30 years, and he knew how to hide his feelings when things got bad. A creature that looked like a walking piece of glass spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. The words came out of a small box on Jack's belt, translated into English. The human species has been found guilty of being too violent and breaking the rules of peace 17 times, the glass creature said. We have talked about this for many hours. Now we must vote. Should humans be banned from all civilized space? Jack watched as lights began to appear above each alien group. Red lights meant yes, they wanted humans gone. Blue lights meant no, they wanted humans to stay. Green lights meant they were not sure. The first light was red, then another red light. Then another. Jack counted them as they appeared, one by one. Red, 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 red. His heart felt heavy, but his face did not change. Behind Jack, Captain Lisa Park whispered, "Sir, maybe we should say something. Ask them to think again." Jack shook his head just a little. "No, we knew this would happen." More red lights appeared. Jack kept counting 20 red lights, then 30, then 40. Only one species did not vote red. The Aquari looked like dolphins but could walk on land. Their leader, a female with silver skin, made her light turn green instead of red. She spoke in a voice like singing. "We do not vote yes or no. We want to see what happens next. Humans are interesting. We think this story is not over." The glass creature made a sound like breaking wind chimes. "The vote is finished. 46 species say yes, humans must go. 0 species say no. 1 species chose not to vote. The humans are banned from civilized space." Jack felt like someone had punched him in the stomach, but he did not move. Around the room, aliens were making happy sounds. Some were clicking, others were humming, and a few were changing colors very fast. "Admiral Morrison," the glass creature said, "your species has 30 days to leave civilized space. All human ships, all human bases, all human people must go back to your home system. After 30 days, any human found outside the Sol system will be considered an enemy. We will treat you as if you started a war." Jack stepped forward. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. The room became quiet. "We understand," Jack said. His voice was calm and strong. "Humans will follow your decision. We will leave civilized space." Many of the aliens looked surprised. They had expected Jack to argue or beg or get angry. Instead, he was agreeing with them. "You will go back to Earth and stay there?" asked a creature that looked like a giant spider with too many eyes. "We will leave civilized space," Jack said again. "That is what you voted for. That is what we will do." The glass creature made more wind chime sounds. "Good, the trial is over. Admiral Morrison, you may go." Jack turned around and walked toward the door. Captain Park walked beside him. She was a small woman with short black hair and worried eyes. "Sir," she whispered, "what do we do now?" Jack did not answer until they were outside the room. The hallway was empty except for 2 robot guards that looked like metal boxes with arms. "We go home," Jack said, "and we send the message." "What message, sir?" Jack looked at her with tired eyes. "Operation Exodus. The message we have been waiting 3 years to send." Captain Park's eyes went wide. "Sir, are you sure?" "That plan is crazy. No one has ever tried anything like that before." "Lisa," Jack said, using her first name for the first time in years, "they just voted to kick us out of the galaxy. They think we are too dangerous to be around civilized people." "Maybe they are right." They walked to their small ship in silence. It was called the Messenger, and it was one of the smallest ships in the spaceport. Around them, huge alien ships rose into the sky like metal mountains. Some had wings, others had spinning rings, and a few looked like they were made of light. Inside the Messenger, Jack sat in the captain's chair and turned on the communication system. The screen showed the face of General Kate Sullivan back on Earth. She was sitting in a room deep underground, surrounded by computers and maps. "Admiral Morrison," she said, "we have been watching the trial. I assume the vote did not go well." "No, General." 46-0. They want us gone in 30 days. General Sullivan nodded. "I have been hoping for better news, but we prepared. For this, are you giving the order?" Jack looked at Captain Park, who was sitting at the navigation station. She looked scared but determined. He thought about Earth, about the billions of people who were about to find out they were not welcome in the galaxy anymore. "Yes, General. Operation Exodus is a go. Send the message to all human ships, all human bases, all human colonies. We are leaving civilized space." "Understood, sir." "The message will go out in 10 minutes. All human assets will begin moving to the rally points within 24 hours. Jack took a deep breath. "Kate, are you sure this will work? What we are planning has never been tried before." General Sullivan smiled for the first time in the conversation. "Jack, 3 years ago when the aliens started complaining about us, we began planning for this day. We have been moving supplies, ships, and people to the outer rim for months. We have found star systems that the aliens think are worthless. We have been building bases in places they never look. And if they follow us, they won't. Where we are going, they think nothing can live. They think the space between the spiral arms is empty and useless. They are wrong." Captain Park spoke up. "General, how many people know about this plan?" "Everyone." "Who needs to know?" "Every ship captain, every base commander, every colony leader. We have been preparing for this day for 3 years. The aliens think they are sending us home to hide. They have no idea what we are really going to do." Jack felt something he had not felt in days: hope. "How long until we are completely out of their space?" He asked. "All military ships will be out in 2 weeks. All colony ships will be out in 3 weeks. All industrial equipment will be out in 4 weeks. We will be completely gone from civilized space in less than a month. And then?" General Sullivan's smile got bigger. "Then we disappear. The aliens will think humans are gone forever. They will forget about us. And while they are forgetting, we will be building something they have never seen before." Jack turned off the communication system and looked at Captain Park. "Lisa, set course for Earth. We have work to do." "Yes, sir. What kind of work?" Jack stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the alien ships flying in perfect formations, following rules that had been made thousands of years ago. Rules that humans had never been good at following. "We are going to show the galaxy what happens when you tell humans they cannot do something," he said. "They voted to banish us. They think that makes us weaker. They are about to learn how wrong they are." The messenger lifted off from the spaceport and headed toward Earth. Behind them, the aliens were celebrating their victory. They had no idea that they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. General Kate Sullivan stood in the control room deep under the Rocky Mountains. The room was as big as a football field and filled with computers that never stopped working. Hundreds of people sat at desks, watching screens that showed the movement of every human ship in the galaxy. Kate was 55 years old and had been a soldier for most of her life. She had gray hair and hard eyes that missed nothing. Today, those eyes were watching the biggest operation in human history. "General Sullivan," called out Colonel Ryan Hayes from across the room, "all ships in the Alpha Group have left their bases. They are heading to the meeting points as planned." Kate nodded. On the huge screen in front of her, she could see green dots moving across a map of the galaxy. Each dot was a human ship. There were thousands of them. "What about the colony ships?" she asked. "Colony ships are moving too," said Dr. Elena Rodriguez, who was standing next to Kate. Elena was a scientist who had helped plan this operation. She was young, only 35, but she was one of the smartest people Kate had ever met. The new Terra Colony ship left Mars 3 hours ago, Elena continued. The Forge World ship left the Jupiter shipyard this morning. Haven Colony ship will leave tomorrow, Kate smiled. The aliens thought humans were just going home to Earth to hide. They had no idea that humans were moving to places the aliens had never even looked. Show me the void, Kate said. The screen changed to show the space between the spiral arms of the galaxy. To most people it looked empty. Just black space with a few stars scattered around, but Kate knew better. Her people had been exploring this area for 3 years. Dr. Rodriguez, tell me about our new homes, Kate said. Elena pointed to different spots on the screen. We found 12-star systems that can support human life. The aliens think these systems are worthless because they are hard to reach and have strange gravity. But we can handle strange gravity. We have always been good at living in difficult places. A new voice joined the conversation. General, this is Captain Ben Carter reporting. Kate looked at the communication screen. Captain Carter was a young man with brown hair and a face that always looked serious. He was commanding one of the transport ships. Captain Carter, what is your status? Kate asked. We just passed the outer edge of civilized space. The alien patrol ships watched us go, but they did not follow. I think they are happy to see us leave. Good. How long until you reach the void? 2 weeks, General. We have supplies for 6 months and equipment to start building as soon as we arrive. Kate felt proud. Her people were brave. They were leaving everything they knew to go to places that might kill them, but they were not afraid. Colonel Hayes? Kate called out. What do our spy satellites tell us? Ryan Hayes was a big man with a deep voice. He had been Kate's second in command for 10 years. The aliens are watching our ships leave, but they are not following. They think we are all going back to Earth. They do not know about the void operation. What? About the industrial ships? All industrial ships are moving as planned. The mining equipment, the factories, the power plants, everything is heading to the void. The aliens think we are just taking our things home. Kate walked to another screen that showed Earth. The planet looked peaceful from space, but Kate knew that millions of people were saying goodbye to their home forever. Dr. Rodriguez, are you sure the void systems can support our people? Elena nodded. We have been studying them for 3 years. System 7 has a planet with water and air we can breathe. System 3 has asteroids full of rare metals. System 12 has gas giants we can use for fuel. We will not just survive in the void, we will grow strong. A new alarm sounded. Kate looked at the main screen and saw red lights flashing. What is that? She asked. General, said a young woman at one of the computers, we are getting reports from the outer colonies. The aliens are coming to make sure we are really leaving. Kate was not surprised. Let them come. Show them what they want to see? On the screen, Kate could see alien ships approaching human colonies. The aliens were checking to make sure humans were really packing up and leaving. Are our people ready for this? Kate asked. Yes, General, Ryan said. Every colony knows what to do. They will show the aliens that humans are leaving, but they will not show them where we are really going. Kate watched as the reports came in. Colony after colony was showing the aliens that humans were packing up their things and getting ready to leave. The aliens were satisfied. They thought. Humans were beaten and scared. General Sullivan, came another voice from the communication system. This is Admiral Morrison. We have just left the alien capital. We are heading home. Kate was glad to hear from Jack Morrison. He was one of her oldest friends and the best diplomat humanity had. Admiral, how did the aliens react when you left? They were happy, General. They think they have won. They think humans will go back to Earth and never come out again. They have no idea what we are really doing, Kate smiled. Good. The less they know, the better. General, Jack continued, I have been thinking about what happens next. Are we really going to cut all contact with the galaxy? That is the plan, Admiral. We disappear completely. No human ships in civilized space. No human messages, no human trade. We become ghosts, Dr. Rodriguez spoke up. General, the first phase of construction has already begun. Our advanced teams reached the Void system 6 months ago. They have been building basic shelters and starting farms. When the main ships arrive, we will have places to live. Kate felt excited. For 3 years, she had been planning this moment. Now it was really happening. Show me the construction reports? She said. The screen changed to show pictures from the Void systems. Kate could see small buildings on strange planets. She could see spaceships mining asteroids. She could see humans in spacesuits working to build new homes. The new Terra system is producing food, Elena said. The Forge World system is mining metals. The Haven system is building factories. In 6 months, we will have everything we need to live without the galaxy. Colonel Hayes joined them at the screen. General, what about defense? What if the aliens change their minds and come looking for us? Kate's smile became dangerous. Ryan, show me the military reports. The screen showed human warships moving through space. But these ships looked different from the ones humans had used before. They were bigger, meaner, and covered in weapons. The aliens made rules about how big our ships could be and what weapons we could have, Kate said. But we are not in their space anymore. We do not have to follow their rules. What are you saying, General? I am saying that we are building ships that can fight any alien fleet. We are building weapons that the aliens have never seen. We are building an army that does not have to ask permission from anyone. Dr. Rodriguez looked worried. General, are we planning to fight the aliens? Kate shook her head. No, Elena, we are planning to be so strong that the aliens will never think about fighting us. There is a difference. Captain Carter's voice came through the communication system. Again, General, we are getting close to the Void. I can see the first construction sites. It is beautiful. Kate felt proud. Her people were not just running away. They were building something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. Captain Carter, how do the crews feel about leaving civilized space? They are excited, General. They know we are doing something important, something that will change everything. Kate looked around the control room. Her people were working hard, moving thousands of ships and millions of people to a new home. They were not sad about leaving the galaxy. They were ready for adventure. Colonel Hayes, when will the last human ship leave civilized space? In 28 days, General, right on schedule. Kate nodded. In 28 days, the galaxy would think humans were gone forever. The aliens would go back to their normal lives. They would forget about the dangerous species they had banished, but humans would not forget. In the Void, they would grow strong. They would build new ships, new weapons, new cities. And someday, when they were ready, they would come back. The galaxy had voted to banish Earth, but Earth was not planning to stay banished forever. Commander Alex Turner flew his small ship through the asteroid field around New Terra. 5 years had passed since humans left civilized space. 5 years of hard work, building and growing in the dark void between the spiral arms of the galaxy. Alex was 32 years old and had been a pilot since he was 18. He had brown hair and green eyes that were always looking for danger. Today, those eyes were looking at something amazing. Where once there had been empty space, now there were cities. Huge space stations floated between the asteroids, connected by tubes and bridges. Ships moved back and forth like busy insects, carrying people and supplies. The asteroid field itself had been turned into a giant mine, with machines digging out metals and rare materials. Control, this is Scout 7, Alex said into his radio. I'm coming back from patrol. Everything looks good out here. Scout 7, this is Control, came the voice of a woman. Admiral Chun wants to see you as soon as you land. Go straight to the briefing room, Alex felt curious. Admiral Lucy Chun was the boss of all human military ships in the Void. She did not call people to meetings unless something important was happening. Alex landed his ship on the main station called Haven 1. It was the biggest human-built structure in the Void, with room for 50,000 people. The station had farms, factories, schools, and everything else people needed to live. As Alex walked through the station, he saw how much things had changed. The people looked different now. They were stronger, more confident. Living in the void had made them tough. Children who had been born here had never seen civilized space. To them, this was normal. Alex reached the briefing room and went inside. Admiral Chin was there, along with several other officers. They were all looking at screens that showed maps of the galaxy. Admiral Chun was a small woman with short black hair and smart eyes. She had been a captain when humans left civilized space, but now she commanded more ships than any human had ever controlled before. "Commander Turner," she said, "thank you for coming quickly. We have received some very interesting news." Alex sat down at the table. "What kind of news, Admiral?" Dr. Simon Wright, the intelligence officer, stood up. He was a thin man with glasses who always looked worried. "Commander, we have been watching the galaxy with our spy satellites. What we have learned will surprise you." The screens changed to show different parts of civilized space. But something was wrong. There were red marks everywhere, showing places where there was fighting. "What am I looking at?" Alex asked. "War," Admiral Chun said simply. "The galaxy is at war." Dr. Wright pointed to different parts of the map. "It started 2 years ago. The Zephyrians and the Korath Empire began fighting over trade routes. Then other species chose sides. Now half the galaxy is involved in the conflict." Alex felt shocked. "But why? The galaxy was peaceful when we left." "That is what we thought too," Admiral Chun said. "But it seems that peace was more fragile than anyone realized. Without humans to handle the dangerous jobs, the galaxy's economy started to break down." Dr. Wright pulled up more information on the screens. "Commander, did you know that humans handled 70% of all dangerous material transport in the galaxy? We also did 40% of deep space salvage operations. We provided security for mining operations in dangerous systems." Alex had not known these numbers. What happened when we left? Other species tried to take over these jobs, but they were not as good at them as humans were. Ships were lost, mining operations failed, trade routes became unsafe. Admiral Chun stood up and walked to the main screen. When the economy started to fail, species began to blame each other. Old arguments that had been forgotten for hundreds of years came back, trust broke down, and now they are fighting, Alex said. "Now they are fighting," Admiral Chun agreed, "and losing badly. The war has cost them millions of lives and destroyed dozens of worlds." Alex looked at the screens showing the destruction. He felt sad for the people who were suffering, but also angry at the species who had voted to banish humans. "Admiral, what does this mean for us?" Dr. Wright answered. "It means they want us back. We have been receiving messages from the Galactic Council for 6 months. They are begging us to return to civilized space." Alex felt surprised. They want us back? After they voted to banish us? "They have realized they made a mistake," Admiral Chun said. "The galaxy needs humans. Without us, everything is falling apart." Admiral Chun walked back to her chair. "Commander, I want you to look at something else." Show him the industrial reports. The screens changed to show the human colonies in the void. Alex could see massive factories, shipyards, and mining operations. The numbers on the screen were incredible. "We are producing more ships, more weapons, and more materials than we ever did in civilized space," Admiral Chun said. "Without the Council's rules limiting us, we have built an industrial base that is bigger than anything in the galaxy." Alex looked at the numbers. They were hard to believe. "How is this possible? Because we are not following their rules anymore?" Dr. Wright explained. "In civilized space, the Council told us our ships could not be bigger than a certain size. They told us we could not have certain weapons. They told us we could not build factories in certain places. But out here we make our own rules," Admiral Chun said. "We build our ships as big as we want. We put any weapons we want on them. We build factories anywhere we can find the materials." Alex felt excited. "So we are stronger now than we were before." "Much stronger," Admiral Chun said. "Look at this." The screen showed a human warship, but it was not like any ship Alex had. ever seen. It was huge, covered in weapons, and looked like it could destroy a small planet. "This is the Liberator," Admiral Chun said. "It is our newest battleship. It is 10 times bigger than any ship we were allowed to build in civilized space. It has weapons that can destroy an entire alien fleet." Alex felt his mouth open. "How many ships like this do we have?" 50 so far, with more being built every month," Admiral Chun said. "And that is just the big ships. We also have thousands of smaller ships, all more advanced than anything in civilized space." Dr. Wright pulled up more information. "Commander, we have also been developing new technology. Our weapons are more powerful, our armor is stronger, and our ships are faster than anything the aliens have." Alex looked around the room. "So what happens now? Do we go back to civilized space?" Admiral Chun smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "That depends on what terms they are willing to accept." "What do you mean?" "I mean, we are not the same species that left 5 years ago. We are not going to go back and follow their rules. We are not going to let them tell us what we can and cannot do." Dr. Wright sat back down. "The Council has been sending messages, offering us trade agreements, protected routes, and even full membership with voting rights." "That sounds good," Alex said. "It sounds good," Admiral Chun agreed, "but it is not enough. We do not need their trade routes. We have our own. We do not need their protection. We are stronger than they are. And we do not want to be members of their council." Alex felt confused. "Then what do we want?" Admiral Chun stood up again. "We want to be partners, not subjects. We want to deal with each species individually, not through the council. We want to choose which jobs we take and which we refuse. And if they say no, then we stay here in the void and let them solve their own problems," Admiral Chun said. "Which they seem to be doing very badly." Alex looked at the screen showing the war in civilized space. Cities were burning, ships were being destroyed. People were dying. "Admiral, are we really going to let them destroy themselves?" Admiral Chun's face became serious. "Commander, 5 years ago, 46 species voted to banish us from the galaxy. They said we were too dangerous to be around civilized people. They said we were violent and unpredictable." She pointed to the screen showing the war. "Look at them now. They are destroying themselves without any help from us. Maybe we were not the dangerous ones after all." Alex felt sad and angry at the same time. "So what do we do?" "We wait, Admiral." Chun said, "We let them fight their war. We let them realize how much they need us. And when they are ready to treat us as equals instead of subjects, we will talk." "And if they never realize it?" Admiral Chun smiled again, and this time it was a dangerous smile. "Then we will have the strongest military in the galaxy, and they will have nothing. Eventually, they will have to accept our terms." Alex looked at the screens one more time. The galaxy was tearing itself apart, while humans grew stronger in the void. It was not what anyone had expected 5 years ago. "Admiral, do you think we will ever go back to civilized space?" "Oh, we will go back," Admiral Chun said. "But when we do, it will be on our terms. The galaxy voted to banish us, but they created something much more powerful than what they feared." Alex nodded. "The humans were no longer the weak species begging for acceptance. They were the strong species that everyone else needed. The galaxy had made a mistake, and now they were going to pay for it." The council chamber on Kepler Prime looked very different from 5 years ago. Many of the seats were empty because some species were too busy fighting wars to send representatives. The aliens who were there looked tired and scared. Their fancy clothes were torn, and many had bandages covering wounds from the fighting. Admiral Jack Morrison walked into the chamber, but he was not alone this time. Captain Lisa Park, now promoted to admiral, walked beside him. Behind them came 4 other human officers, all wearing new uniforms that looked much better than the old ones. Jack looked around the chamber. He remembered the last time he had been here, standing alone while 46 species voted to banish humanity. Now, many of those same species looked at him with hope instead of anger. The glass creature that had announced the banishment was still there, but it looked damaged. Parts of its crystal body were cracked, and its voice sounded different through the translation device. Admiral Morrison, the glass creature said, we are happy that you have come. We have been sending messages for many months. Jack did not smile. We received your messages. We are here to listen to what you have to say. The Korath representative, a large creature with 4 arms and red skin, spoke up. Admiral, we know we made a mistake. The galaxy needs humans. We want to invite you back to civilized space. With full privileges this time, added the Zephyrian delegate, a tall, thin alien with blue skin and too many eyes. We offer you voting rights in the council. We offer you the best trade routes. We offer you protection from any species that might threaten you. Jack listened without showing any emotion. Admiral Park stepped forward and spoke for the first time. Protection from whom? She asked. Which species in this galaxy could threaten us? The question made the chamber quiet. The aliens looked at each other nervously. They all knew the answer, but none of them wanted to say it. The Aquari representative, the same female who had refused to vote for banishment 5 years ago, spoke in her singing voice. Admiral Park, we have been watching the humans in the void. We know you have become very strong. Stronger than any of us expected. Jack smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. You have been watching us? We have tried to watch. You, the Aquari admitted. But most of the time, our ships cannot find you. You have become very good at hiding. We are not hiding, Admiral Park said. We are just living in places you think are worthless. The Korath representative made an angry sound. The space between the spiral arms is empty. Nothing valuable can be found there. You are wrong, Jack said simply. There is plenty of value. There, you just have to know how to look for it. The glass creature made its wind chime sound. Admiral Morrison, we did not ask you here to discuss the void. We asked you here to discuss your return to civilized space. Jack looked around the chamber. And what makes you think we want to return? The question surprised the aliens. They had expected humans to be grateful for the invitation. The Zephyrian delegate spoke up. Admiral, surely you understand the benefits of galactic civilization. Trade, culture, knowledge, friendship between species. We have trade, Admiral Park said. We trade with each other, we have culture, we have knowledge, and we have friendship with species that earn our respect. But you are alone out there, the Korath representative said. You have no allies, no support, no help if something goes wrong. Jack laughed. It was not a happy laugh. 5 years ago, we asked this council for help when other species attacked. Our mining operations, what did you do? The chamber became quiet again. The aliens remembered. They had done nothing. You told us to handle our own problems, Jack continued. You told us that humans were too violent and that we brought the attacks on ourselves, so we learned to handle our own problems. And now we are very good at it. The glass creature tried to speak, but Jack held up his hand. You want to know what we learned in the void? Jack asked. We learned that we do not need you. We learned that we are stronger without your rules. We learned that we are better off alone. Admiral Park pulled out a small device and activated it. A holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber, showing charts and numbers. These are the statistics from the last 5 years, she said. In civilized space, wars have killed 12 million people. Trade has decreased by 40%. 17 colonies have been destroyed. 6 species are close to extinction. The numbers were terrible. The aliens looked at the display with horror. In the void, Admiral Park continued, humans have built 50 new colonies. Our population has grown by 20%. We have developed new technology that is better than anything in civilized space. We have had 0 wars and 0 casualties from violence. But you could have so much more if you returned, the Zephyrian delegate said desperately. What more? Jack asked. What can you offer us that we do not already have? The aliens looked at each other. They had expected this meeting to be easy. They had expected humans to be grateful and eager to return. Instead, humans were acting like they were doing the aliens a favor just by being there. The Aquari representative spoke up. Admiral Morrison, what would it take for humans to return to civilized space? Jack looked at Admiral Park. She nodded. We are not interested in returning. To civilize space, Jack said. But we might be interested in a partnership. What kind of partnership? The glass creature asked. Admiral Park stepped forward. Humans will provide services to any species that requests them. Security for dangerous regions, transport of hazardous materials, salvage operations in hostile environments, deep space exploration. That sounds like what you did before, the Korath representative said. With some important differences, Jack said. We will deal with each species individually. We will not take orders from the Council. We will choose which jobs to accept and which to refuse. And we will set our own prices. The aliens began talking among themselves in their own languages. The translation devices could not keep up with all the different conversations. Finally, the glass creature spoke. Admiral Morrison, what you are proposing is not membership in galactic civilization. It is a business relationship. Exactly, Jack said. We are not interested in being members of your civilization. We have our own civilization now, but we are willing to do business with civilizations that treat us fairly. And if we refuse your terms? The Zephyrian delegate asked. Jack shrugged. Then we go back to the void and you continue solving your own problems. How has that been working out for you? The chamber became quiet. Everyone knew how badly it had been working out. The Aquari representative swam forward in her water tank. Admiral Morrison, you said humans will deal with each species individually. Does that mean you will not work with the Council? The Council voted to banish us, Admiral Park said. We have no interest in working with the Council. But we will work with individual species that want our help. What about species that cannot afford your prices? The Korath representative asked. Jack thought about the question. We will consider each case individually. We are not interested in making anyone suffer. But we are also not interested in being taken advantage of. The glass creature made its wind chime sound again. Admiral Morrison, how long will you give us to consider your proposal? 72 hours, Jack said. After that, we return to the void and this offer expires. Forever, the Zephyrian delegate asked. Forever, Jack. Confirmed. The aliens looked panicked. They had expected to negotiate for weeks or months. Instead, humans were giving them 3 days. Admiral Morrison, the Aquari representative said, may I ask you a personal question? You may ask. Are you angry with us? Are you doing this for revenge? Jack considered the question carefully. We are not angry. Anger is a waste of energy. We are simply being practical. 5 years ago, you decided you did not want us in your civilization. We respected that decision and built our own civilization. Now you want us back, but we are not the same species that left. What do you mean? The glass creature asked. Admiral Park answered. We mean that we are no longer a species that needs your approval. We are no longer a species that begs for acceptance. We are a species that chooses its own path. Jack walked toward the chamber exit. You have 72 hours to decide. Each species can choose for itself whether to accept our partnership or continue handling its own problems. As the human delegation prepared to leave, the Aquari representative called out, Admiral Morrison, what if most species accept but few refuse? Jack paused at the door. Then we will work with the species that accept and ignore the species that refuse. The galaxy is a big place, and there is room for everyone to make their own choices. The humans left the chamber, leaving the aliens to debate among themselves. For the first time in 5 years, the future of the galaxy was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The species that had voted to banish humanity no longer had the power to make that decision. The humans were back, but they were back on their own terms. The galaxy would never be the same. Captain Ben Carter flew the heavy cruiser Independence through the dangerous space near the Zephyrian border. 6 months had passed since the council meeting, and the galaxy was a very different place now. Some species had accepted humanity's partnership offer. Others had refused and were still fighting their wars alone. Ben was 38 years old and had been commanding ships for 15 years. He had seen the galaxy before humans were banished, and he had helped build the new civilization in the void. Now he was part of something completely new. The Independence was one of the new human warships, built in the void without any restrictions from alien councils. It was 3 times bigger than any ship humans had been allowed to build before. Its weapons could destroy entire fleets, and its armor could survive attacks that would destroy most alien ships. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Amanda Foster from the communications station, "we are getting a distress signal from the Aquari research ship Ocean's Dream. They are under attack in the neutral zone." Ben smiled. The Aquari had been one of the first species to sign a partnership agreement with humans. They had abandoned the Council's protection system and hired human security instead. "How far away are they?" Ben asked. 20 minutes at full speed, sir. Set course for their position, maximum speed." The Independence turned toward the distress signal. Ben had done missions like this dozens of times in the past 6 months. Human ships were now providing security for 17 different species. "Across the galaxy, Lieutenant Foster, who is attacking them?" "Sensors show 3 ships, Captain. They belong to the Hegemony." Ben's smile disappeared. The Hegemony was a group of species that had refused humanity's partnership offer. They had been one of the loudest voices calling for human banishment 5 years ago. "Open a channel to all ships in the area," Ben ordered. "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Ben Carter of the human vessel Independence. We are responding to a distress call from the Aquari ship Ocean's Dream. Any vessel interfering with our mission will be considered hostile." The Independence dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Aquari ship. Ben could see 3 Hegemony attack ships surrounding the research vessel. They were trying to board it. "This is Captain Carter of the Independence," Ben broadcast on all frequencies. "You are attacking a ship under our protection. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The response came quickly from one of the attacking ships. "Human ship. This is Commander Vex of the Hegemony Fleet. You have no authority in this sector. Leave immediately." Ben had heard this kind of talk before. "Commander Vex, you have 10 seconds to move away from the Aquari ship. We do not take orders from Banish species," Vex replied. The first Hegemony ship opened fire on the Independence. The energy beams hit the human ship's shields and did almost no damage. Ben shook his head. The aliens still did not understand how much humans had changed. "Lieutenant Foster, signal the other ships to stand down. If they refuse, you are authorized to disable them." "Yes, sir." The Independence's weapons systems came online. The ship carried weapons that had been developed in the void, using technology that was years ahead of anything in civilized space. The engagement lasted exactly 90 seconds. The Independence's advanced weapons easily overwhelmed the 3 Hegemony ships. 2 were disabled, their engines destroyed, and their weapons offline. The third ship tried to ram the Independence, but was destroyed when its hull could not handle the impact against the human ship's armor. "This is Commander Deep Song of the Ocean's Dream," came a grateful voice through the communication system. "Thank you for your assistance, Captain Carter. Happy to help, Commander. That is what our partnership agreement is for." Ben looked at the 2 disabled Hegemony ships. "Lieutenant Foster, send a message to Hegemony Command. Tell them their ships attacked a vessel under human protection. Tell them we have taken their crews prisoner and will return them when the Hegemony pays for the damage to the Aquari ship." "Sir, should we also report this to the Council?" Ben laughed. "The Council has no authority over us, Lieutenant. We will handle this ourselves." Later, in his private quarters, Ben reviewed the intelligence reports that had been coming in from across the galaxy. The information was fascinating and disturbing. The Galactic Council was falling apart. More species were leaving every month to sign direct agreements with humans. The species that stayed were finding it harder and harder to maintain order in their territories. Ben's communication system activated. "Captain Carter, this is Admiral Chun. Please report to the command center for a priority briefing." Ben made his way to the command center, which was located on the main human base in the void. The base was now called Command 1, and it was the size of a small planet. Millions of humans lived there, and it controlled the movements of thousands of human ships across the galaxy. Admiral Lucy Chun was waiting for him, along with General Kate Sullivan, who had traveled from Earth for this meeting. Ben had not seen the general in 2 years, and he was surprised by how confident she looked. "Captain Carter," Admiral Chun said, "we need to discuss the latest intelligence from civilized space." Ben sat down at the briefing table. "What is the situation, Admiral?" General Sullivan activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. "The situation is that we are winning, Captain. Not because we are fighting a war, but because we are providing something the galaxy needs." The display showed human ships and bases scattered across the galaxy. There were far more than Ben had realized. "How many species are we working with now?" Ben asked. 31, Admiral Chun replied. "That is more than half of all known species. And more are asking to join every week." "What about the ones that refuse our partnership?" General Sullivan's expression became serious. "They are having problems, big problems. Without human security, their trade routes are unsafe. Without human transport, they cannot move dangerous materials. Without human salvage operations, they are losing valuable resources. Are they asking for help? Some are. But they want us to work for the Council again, under their rules. They do not want to admit that they need us." Ben thought about the encounter with the hegemony ships. "What about the species that are actively hostile to us?" "That is why we called you here," Admiral Chun said. "The hegemony has been attacking ships under our protection for 3 months. Today's incident was the 5th attack this week. What do you want me to do about it?" General Sullivan leaned forward. "We want you to deliver a message to the hegemony leadership. A message that will make them understand the new reality." "What kind of message?" Admiral Chun activated another display. It showed the hegemony's home system, with dozens of planets and space stations. "The message is simple," she said. "They can choose to respect our partnership agreements, or they can face the consequences." Ben looked at the display. "What consequences?" "Economic blockade," General Sullivan said. "No human ships will provide services to any species that trades. With the hegemony, no human security for their trade routes. No human transport for their materials." "That will hurt a lot of species," Ben said. "It will hurt the species that choose to support the hegemony," Admiral Chun agreed. "But it will not hurt the species that have partnership agreements with us." Ben understood. "You are forcing everyone to choose sides?" "The galaxy is already choosing sides," General Sullivan said. "We are just making the choice clear." A few weeks later, Ben was back on the Independence, patrolling the trade routes between human-protected systems. The galaxy had changed again. The hegemony had agreed to respect human partnerships after several of their major trading partners abandoned them. The economic blockade had worked perfectly. "Captain," Lieutenant Foster called out, "we are receiving a message from the Galactic Council. They want to schedule another meeting with human representatives." Ben was not surprised. "What do they want this time?" "They want to discuss formally recognizing human independence and establishing permanent diplomatic relations." Ben laughed. "Tell them we will consider their request. But remind them that we are very busy with our partnership obligations." "Yes, sir." Ben looked out at the stars. 10 years ago, humans had been a minor species begging for acceptance in galactic civilization. 5 years ago, they had been banished and considered extinct. Now they were the most important species in the galaxy. The transformation was complete. Humans no longer needed the galaxy's approval. The galaxy needed humanity's approval. Species that had once voted to banish Earth now competed for human attention. Trade routes that had once been controlled by the Council were now protected by human ships. Conflicts that had once been solved by Council mediation were now solved by human intervention. The Council still existed, but it was mostly ceremonial. Real power flowed through the network of partnerships that humans had built with individual species. The galaxy had become a collection of bilateral relationships. Rather than a unified civilization, Ben's communication system activated again. "Captain Carter, this is Admiral Morrison. We have just received a formal request from the Galactic Council asking humans to consider taking over galactic peacekeeping operations." Ben smiled. "What did you tell them, Admiral?" I told them we would consider their request, for a reasonable fee, of course.